Deep space was silent. Stars shimmered faintly, distant and cold. Between them floated a small human ship, battered and scarred. Its metal hull had scratches and dents from battles humans never wanted to fight. The ship seemed fragile in the vast emptiness of space, a tiny spark against the infinite dark. Alien fleets patrolled nearby. Massive, sleek ships with glowing weapons, their surfaces reflecting the light of distant stars. From their observation decks, alien commanders looked at the human vessel and laughed. Humans? One of them hissed. They are weak. They cannot survive a week in our space. Another alien commander tilted its head. Why are they even here? This sector is ours. They should have turned back long ago. But the human ship did not turn back. It drifted silently, moving toward the unknown, guided by something only its crew could sense. Inside, the bridge was dimly lit. Captain Mira Hale stood in the center, her eyes scanning blinking consoles. She was young, but her expression was calm and firm. Around her, the crew worked quickly, adjusting controls, monitoring sensors, and whispering updates. "Captain," said Lieutenant Rain, pointing at the sensor display, "there's a signal coming from that dead planet." Mira leaned forward, eyes narrowing. The planet below was gray and lifeless. No atmosphere, no signs of life. Yet the sensors picked up a faint signal pulsing irregularly, almost like a heartbeat. "Unusual," Mira murmured. "It's not natural. It feels like someone left a message." The alien fleets noticed the human ship changing course. They laughed again, certain the humans would get themselves trapped. "Foolish creatures," one said. "They do not know danger when it is in front of them." Mira ignored the laughter. Her hand hovered over the navigation controls. Steady. Humanity was small, weak, and alone in this part of the galaxy. But humans survived when no one else could. That was their strength. The ship approached the dead planet's orbit. Dust and debris swirled around the gray surface. Sensors flickered as the signal grew stronger. Myra's crew exchanged nervous glances. None spoke. Words were unnecessary. Everyone felt the same tension. Something important was waiting below. Something dangerous. "Prepare for landing," Mira said quietly. Her voice was calm, but it carried authority. "I want all systems checked. Shields at full, weapons on standby. We do not know what awaits us down there." The crew moved efficiently, a well-practiced team despite the years of scarcity and hardship. Humans may not have the largest fleets, the strongest weapons, or the fastest ships, but they had something alien commanders could never understand. Adaptability, courage, and a will to survive that burned brighter than any star. The ship descended slowly toward the planet. Its engines hummed softly. Craters and jagged rocks passed below. The signal pulsed faster. It was a pattern, a rhythm. Mira leaned closer to the display, tracing the lines of the signal with her fingers. "It's guiding us somewhere," she said. "Something wants us to find it." The alien commanders watched from afar, confused and intrigued. "Why aren't they scared?" one demanded. "Why do they go toward it?" "Humans are strange," another replied. "They do not flee danger. They survive it. Always." The human ship touched down on the planet's surface with a gentle shudder. Dust rose and settled around it like a quiet storm. The crew opened the airlock, stepping out into a gray, lifeless world. Their boots crunched against the rocky ground. The air was thin, cold, and empty, but their oxygen systems kept them alive. The signal came from a nearby ridge. Mira led the way, scanning every shadow. Every rock seemed ordinary, yet every corner could hide a threat. The alien fleets waited in orbit, confident humans would not last long. Suddenly, the ground near the ridge pulsed with faint blue light. Mira froze. The signal was not just a message. It was something else, something alive. She signaled the crew to hold position. Their hearts raced, but their hands stayed steady on their equipment. "Stay alert," she whispered. "We are not here to conquer. We are here to survive. That is all we need to do." The crew nodded silently. Mira took a deep breath and stepped forward. Humanity had always faced impossible odds. And once again, in the cold emptiness of the galaxy, they would prove that surviving against all threats was the greatest power they possessed. Above them, alien fleets tightened their watch. They did not understand humans. They thought survival was weakness. They were wrong, because humans survived when no one else could. And on this dead planet, with a strange signal pulsing beneath the rocks, survival was about to be tested like never before. The airlock hissed as it sealed behind the crew. Outside, the dead planet stretched endlessly in shades of gray and black. Jagged rocks and craters scarred the surface. Wind, or what little air moved in the thin atmosphere, whipped dust across the landing site. The planet was quiet. Too quiet. It was as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Captain Mira Hale adjusted her helmet and checked her sensors. "Keep your eyes open," she instructed. "The signal is stronger the closer we go. Something is waiting." Lieutenant Rain, always alert, pointed toward a ridge where the blue glow pulsed. "There. That's where it's coming from." The crew moved cautiously. Every step crunched on the rocky surface. Their boots kicked up dust clouds that quickly settled. The signal grew stronger with each step. Its rhythm was almost like a heartbeat, but mechanical, too precise to be natural. As they climbed the ridge, shadows shifted strangely across the rocks. Mira paused, hand on her weapon. "Stay close. Do not assume it's safe." "Not yet." Finally, they reached the source. What they found was unlike anything humans had ever seen. Embedded in the rock was a structure, ancient and metallic, half buried by centuries of dust and debris. Its surface shimmered faintly, reacting to the human's presence. Lights flickered across strange symbols etched into the walls. Rain stepped forward. "This is incredible. It's a city, or maybe a laboratory. But there's no one here." Mira nodded. "A civilization that left this behind long ago. The signal is guiding us inside." She paused, scanning for traps. "We don't know if it's dangerous, or a trap, but we survive by finding answers, not by hiding from them." The crew entered the structure. Inside, the air was still. Dust coated everything. The walls hummed faintly, and the pulsing light seemed to guide them deeper. Large chambers opened before them, filled with machinery of unknown origin. Consoles flickered, and holographic displays activated at their approach. Ancient alien symbols danced in the air, translating automatically into simple English for the humans. "Welcome," the message read. "You are not the first to find this place, but you may be the first to survive." Myra's eyes narrowed. "Survive what?" She gestured to the crew. "Keep moving. Stay alert." As they explored, the crew discovered more. The facility was a survival outpost, designed by a species that had once conquered nearby star systems and failed. Walls displayed records of battles, strategies, and warnings. Energy cores still pulsed faintly, providing power to the machinery. Some devices resembled weapons, others shields, and some traps. Rain activated a console. "Captain, these systems can upgrade our ship. Weapons, shields, engines, even navigation. If we can figure out how to use it, we'll be stronger than before." Myra's jaw tightened. "Good. But remember, we are not here to conquer. We are here to survive. Use what we need and nothing more." As they worked, the blue signal shifted. It grew erratic like an alarm. Mira felt a chill. "Something is coming," she warned. "We are not alone." Outside, on the barren surface, shadows moved. Massive forms emerged from the craters and rocks, creatures of alien origin. Their skin glimmered like metal, their eyes glowed faintly, and their size dwarfed the humans. They had been watching, waiting, curious or hungry. The crew readied their weapons. Mira stayed calm. "Do not fire unless I give the order," she said. "We survive by thinking, not by shooting blindly." The creatures hesitated near the entrance. They made no sound, but the ground vibrated slightly under their weight. Rain whispered, "They're huge. We can't fight them head-on." Mira scanned the facility, her mind racing. "Then we fight smart. The signal led us here for a reason. This place has tools we can use. Watch and learn, crew." Survival is the only thing that matters. The aliens outside prowled, circling, testing, searching for weakness. The humans moved quickly, activating parts of the ancient facility. Energy shields flared, turrets hummed to life, and hidden traps engaged, sending pulses of light and force toward the approaching creatures. The aliens recoiled. They had not expected this. Humans were clever. Humans adapted. Humans survived. Mira looked at her crew. Remember this moment. This is why humanity still exists. We are small, we are weak, but we endure. And here we will learn to endure even more. The pulse of the blue signal grew steady again, guiding them deeper into the facility. It seemed almost alive, almost sentient, as if the planet itself recognized their determination to survive. Outside, the alien creatures began to retreat. They circled warily, confused. Humans were not what they expected. Humans did not flee. Humans did not surrender. Humans survived. Mira took a deep breath and stepped forward. "We have work to do," she said. "This is only the beginning. What lies ahead will test us in ways we cannot imagine. But we will survive. That is all that matters." And so, on the edge of a dead planet, humanity took its first real step into a world that had long forgotten life. The ruins whispered secrets, the signal pulsed with warning, and beyond the horizon, the galaxy waited, hungry, dangerous, and indifferent. But humans survived. The facility hummed with faint energy as Mira Hale and her crew moved deeper into the ruins. The walls pulsed softly, lights flickering in rhythm with the strange signal. Every step echoed through the empty chambers, amplifying the silence around them. Dust swirled in the low gravity, drifting like ghostly figures that whispered secrets of the past. Lieutenant Rain examined the holographic displays. "Captain, the creatures outside, they're not just watching. They're preparing to attack. I can feel it. Their energy signatures are rising." Mira didn't flinch. "Then we'll be ready. Stay calm and follow the plan. We survive because we think, not because we fight blindly." As they moved toward the central chamber, a sudden vibration shook the floor. The walls glowed brighter, and from the shadows, the first of the alien creatures appeared. Massive and terrifying, it moved with unnatural speed. Its metallic skin shimmered under the flickering light. Its eyes glowed red, unblinking and hungry. The crew froze for a moment, hearts pounding, but Myra's voice cut through the tension. "Positions. Remember, our strength is our strategy." Rain and the others activated their weapons. The guns hummed, shields flared, but the aliens were fast. One lunged forward, towering over the crew, claws slicing through the air. Mira ducked and rolled behind a pillar, signaling Rain to trigger the traps within the chamber. Energy turrets hidden in the walls flared to life. Pulses of light shot toward the creatures, striking them with precise force. The aliens staggered but didn't fall. They roared, a sound that vibrated through the ruins and advanced again. Mira observed carefully. "They are strong but predictable. Watch their patterns. We survive by exploiting them, not fighting them directly." The crew moved in synchrony. Using the facility's technology, they activated defensive barriers, forcing the creatures into narrow passages. The signal on the console guided them to hidden paths and ancient devices that could emit blinding light, pulses of energy, and sonic disruptions. Each attack was precise. Each move was calculated. The aliens attacked again, this time more aggressively. One of them smashed through a barricade, sending rubble flying. Rain fired his weapon, but the alien was too fast. It grabbed the turret and threw it aside, lunging toward him. Mira acted quickly. She pulled a lever on the control panel, activating a trap under the creature. The floor shifted, and a mechanical net shot out, ensnaring the alien. "Good work," Mira said calmly. "We are not strong, but we are smart. Remember that." The crew pushed forward, following the pulse of the signal. The creatures were relentless. More appeared, emerging from the shadows of the vast chambers. Their size, their speed, their intelligence. It was clear these predators were designed to hunt and kill anything that entered their territory. But humans adapted, using the ruins as cover, activating ancient devices, and staying one step ahead. The crew began to turn the tide. One alien collided with a shielded wall, dazed by the energy surge. Another fell into a trapdoor that closed instantly, locking it underground. Myra's mind raced. She realized the ruins were a survival system, left intentionally by the long-gone civilization. Every trap, every pulse of light, every energy field. It was designed to test, to train, to challenge those who sought the planet's secrets. And humans were using it to survive. The creatures paused, circling cautiously. They had never faced prey that did not panic, that did not run, that adapted to every threat. The aliens hissed in confusion. Their red eyes blinked rapidly, scanning for weakness. But humans had none to show. Mira stepped forward into the central chamber, her voice calm and commanding. "We do not fight for power. We fight to survive. That is our strength. That is why we are still here." The creatures hesitated, sensing the determination radiating from the humans. For the first time, they stopped attacking. They studied the humans, calculating. They were predators, but the humans were different. The crew, catching their breath, gathered near Mira. Rain wiped sweat from his forehead. "Captain, they're not leaving. They're waiting." Mira nodded. "Let them wait. We have the advantage now. We know the terrain, we know the traps, we know the signal. Survival isn't about strength. It's about thinking ahead. And we survive because we never give up." As the creatures circled the central chamber, the blue signal pulsed steadily again. It seemed to calm, almost as if it recognized the humans' resolve. The crew watched, ready, every nerve on edge. Every moment counted. One wrong move and survival would fail. But humans were not designed to fail. They survived the impossible every day. And on this dead planet, facing predators that could crush them in an instant, they would survive again. Mira took a deep breath, scanning the chamber. "Prepare for the next phase," she said. "We move forward. The signal is guiding us, and survival is only the beginning." Outside, the aliens waited, confused and wary. Inside, the humans pressed onward, learning, adapting, surviving. And in the silence between the pulses of the blue light, the ruins seemed to whisper, "Only the clever will endure." And humans were clever. The pulse of the blue signal led Mira Hale and her crew deeper into the ancient facility. Every step echoed through vast chambers, the walls lined with strange metallic symbols that seemed to shimmer under their lights. Dust floated lazily in the air, disturbed only by their movement. Each corner of the ruins seemed alive, as if watching them, testing them. "This place? It's bigger than we thought," Lieutenant Rain whispered, scanning the walls with his handheld device. "There are rooms beneath rooms, entire networks of chambers, powered by something ancient." Mira nodded. "Keep your eyes open. This is not just a ruin. This is a warning, a lesson, and maybe a trap." As they moved forward, they discovered a massive chamber. Holographic projections floated above the floor, displaying images of star systems, battles, and vast empires long gone. Myra's eyes widened. These were civilizations that tried to conquer the stars. And they failed. One projection showed a planet engulfed in flames, fleets destroyed in seconds. Another showed a civilization's capital collapsing under unknown forces. The message was clear. Power alone was never enough to survive in this galaxy. Only strategy, adaptability, and understanding could keep a species alive. Rain studied a panel. "Captain, these records, they're showing survival techniques. Advanced tactics, energy shields, defensive networks. They were teaching us without knowing we'd find it." Mira walked slowly among the projections, her mind racing. They left this behind for a reason. They knew the galaxy would challenge any species that dared reach too far. Conquest doesn't matter. Survival does. Suddenly, a section of the wall shifted, revealing a hidden chamber. The crew entered cautiously. Inside, rows of devices hummed with energy. Some resembled weapons, others strange tools, and in the center, A pedestal held a crystalline device glowing faintly. "The heart of the facility," Mira whispered. She reached out, and the crystal responded, sending waves of energy through the room. Holographic interfaces appeared, showing schematics for the human ship and the planet's defensive systems. This can upgrade our ship," Rain said, awe in his voice. "Weapons, shields, even propulsion. We can become stronger, smarter, faster." Mira placed her hand on the pedestal. "Not for attack, not for war, only for survival. We adapt, we endure. That is all we need." As the crew explored further, the pulse of the blue signal intensified. It led them to the outer sections of the ruins, where enormous gates revealed strange corridors. Strange markings covered the walls, warnings, instructions, and memories of the civilization that had failed. One hologram activated as Mira approached. A figure, humanoid but taller, with glowing eyes, appeared. It spoke in a calm, mechanical voice, translated instantly into English. "You are the first to survive this far. Others sought conquest. They perished. To survive the stars, you must adapt, you must endure, and you must think beyond strength." Myra's heart raced. This is more than a facility. It's a test. They were teaching survival, not war. Outside, the alien predators from before prowled the surface. Their red eyes glimmered against the gray rock. They were waiting, hunting, unaware that humans were learning, adapting, and becoming unpredictable. The crew activated several of the facility's devices. Energy shields flared, defensive turrets powered up, and a faint hum of controlled energy filled the air. Every mechanism seemed designed to prepare them for challenges far greater than themselves. Rain looked at Mira. "Captain, if these aliens attack again, we can use this technology to survive. Not to kill, but to outsmart them." Mira nodded. "Exactly. We do not need to conquer. We only need to endure. That is what makes humanity strong. We survive where others fail." Suddenly, the ground shook slightly. The blue signal pulsed violently, almost like a heartbeat in alarm. Myra's eyes narrowed. "Something's coming. The facility is responding to our presence. We are not alone." Shadows moved outside the walls. The alien creatures had returned, larger and more aggressive than before. They had realized humans were not ordinary prey. But the crew now had the advantage. The facility was no longer just a ruin, it was their ally. Mira gestured toward the devices. "Prepare yourselves. Remember what we learned. Survival is about thinking ahead, not brute force. Every move we make counts. One mistake and we fail. One success and we survive." The crew readied themselves, each taking a deep breath. They were humans, fragile yet determined. They were small in the vast galaxy, but clever, adaptable, and resilient. The alien creatures approached, unaware that they faced not just humans, but humans who had learned the secrets of a lost civilization. And in the heart of the ruins, the blue signal pulsed steadily, guiding them, testing them, whispering the ultimate truth. Conquest is temporary. Survival is eternal. Mira looked at her crew. "We are ready. Let them come. We will survive. That is all that matters." The tension grew. Outside, the predators circled. Inside, humans prepared. And the secrets of the lost civilization promised one thing. If humans could learn, adapt, and endure, they could survive even the impossible. The humans had learned much from the ruins of the lost civilization. Their ship was upgraded with strange technology. Their weapons hummed with new energy, and the blue signal pulsed steadily, guiding them through the labyrinth of ancient chambers. Mira Hale and her crew felt a rare sense of hope, but the galaxy was far from forgiving. Outside, the alien predators had regrouped. Red eyes glowed in the darkness as massive ships descended from the orbiting fleets. The creatures that had stalked the humans before were no longer alone. They were joined by larger, more powerful forms, and they moved with a coordinated purpose. Rain glanced at the sensors. "Captain, they're everywhere. They've surrounded the facility. This isn't a hunt anymore. It's an ambush." Myra's jaw tightened. "Then we survive. We don't run. We use what we've learned. She turned to the crew. Remember, survival is thinking ahead. Every trap, every device, every pulse counts. Move smart, act together, and we endure. The first wave hit without warning. Massive claws tore through the air, smashing debris aside. The humans triggered the facility's defenses. Energy barriers flared between them and the predators. Turrets hidden in the walls fired precise pulses of light, knocking back some of the creatures. Sparks flew as alien metal collided with the human shields. Rain fired his weapon, but it barely scratched the massive creatures. Mira activated a control panel. The floor shifted, opening hidden pits beneath the largest predators. They fell, but quickly climbed out, snarling, eyes blazing. The humans knew brute force alone would not win this fight. Adaptability was their weapon. The alien ships above fired at the facility. Energy beams struck the walls, shaking pillars, sending dust and small debris raining down. The humans ducked behind cover, shields flaring as sparks danced across the stone. The ancient ruins seemed to pulse in response, as if alive. They had built these defenses for a reason. Mira signaled the crew to split. Divide and confuse them. Lure them into the traps. Make them underestimate us. The humans moved with precision. One crew member triggered a hall of mirrors. Reflections of light confused the creatures, causing them to attack illusions instead of the crew. Another activated a sonic disruptor, sending vibrations through the floor that made the aliens stumble. The predators roared in frustration. They had not faced prey this cunning before. The humans were not just surviving, they were forcing the attackers to adapt, and the predators were struggling. Rain glanced at Mira, breathing heavily. "Captain, this is insane. We're outnumbered. They should overwhelm us." Myra's eyes gleamed with determination. "That's the point. We survive because we think ahead. They attack blindly. We adapt. That's the difference between them and us." The battle raged on. Sparks flew, energy pulses lit the chamber, and shadows danced across the walls. The humans used the ruins' devices in creative ways. Barriers to funnel the creatures, light pulses to blind them temporarily, and traps that immobilized the largest predators. Each move was calculated, each decision a test of survival instinct. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. Sweat dripped from the crew's faces, muscles burned, and adrenaline surged. Yet they endured. Slowly, the alien creatures began to retreat, confused and battered. Their coordinated ambush had failed. They had underestimated the humans' ability to survive. Mira looked at the aftermath. The chamber was scarred, walls cracked, but the humans stood tall. Her crew was exhausted, but alive. She allowed herself a small nod of pride. "We survived. That is all that matters. Not victory, not conquest, survival." Outside, the alien ships lingered, cautious now. They had learned something new. Humans were not predictable. Humans did not flee. Humans adapted. Humans survived. Rain wiped sweat from his brow. "Captain, they'll come back. They won't forget this." Mira turned to the blue crystal, still pulsing softly. "Then we'll be ready. They think strength wins battles. We know survival wins wars. One step at a time. We endure, and we continue." The chamber fell silent, save for the faint hum of the facility. The humans had survived the ambush, but the galaxy was vast, and danger was everywhere. This victory was temporary, but it reinforced one truth. No matter the odds, humans would find a way to endure. Mira looked at her crew, her voice calm but firm. "Rest if you must. Heal if you must. But remember, we are here because we survive. And survival is never optional in this galaxy." Above the dead planet, alien eyes watched. They whispered warnings to each other. Humans were different. They were dangerous, not because they were stronger, faster, or more numerous, but because they refused to die when everyone expected them to. And humanity survived the ambush. The dust settled in the ruins, and Mira Hale stood in the central chamber, watching her crew catch their breath. The ambush had ended, but it was only the beginning. Outside, The alien predators had retreated temporarily, regrouping with the larger fleet above. But humans had learned something vital. They could survive impossible odds. And survival, Mira knew, was the first step toward turning the tide. "Captain," Rain said, checking the sensors, "the aliens are coming back, and this time, they'll be smarter, stronger, faster. They won't underestimate us again." Myra's gaze hardened. "Then we won't underestimate them either. We adapt, we learn, we survive. That's how humans win, not by strength, but by being clever." The crew moved quickly, using the ancient facilities technology to prepare for the next confrontation. Energy shields flared around the outer walls, turrets hummed with power, and the blue crystal's pulse grew steady and strong. It guided them, almost like a heartbeat, almost alive, teaching them how to defend themselves against the oncoming storm. As the alien ships descended from orbit, red eyes scanning the surface for movement, the humans positioned themselves strategically. They no longer reacted, they anticipated. They had studied the predator's patterns during the ambush. Every step, every lunge, every strike had been analyzed. Now, the humans used that knowledge to their advantage. The first predators struck. Massive claws and armored hides smashed against energy shields. But this time, the humans were ready. Turrets fired precise pulses, and traps funneled the attackers into narrow corridors. A sonic disruptor sent vibrations through the floor, disorienting the largest creatures. "They're faster than last time," Rain noted. "But they're still predictable." Mira smiled faintly. "And that's our advantage. Humans survive because we think ahead. Always." The battle intensified. Alien ships fired energy beams, striking the ruins and sending rubble flying. But humans had upgraded their ship and devices with the facility's technology. Energy pulses from the ship reflected the attacks, turning enemy fire against the attackers. The aliens recoiled, surprised. They had expected humans to be weak, disorganized, easy prey. They were wrong. Mira led a small squad to the outer perimeter. Using the ruins' ancient devices, they created illusions, light decoys, and traps that turned the predator's aggression against themselves. One massive creature charged directly at a barrier, only to fall into a pit that had opened beneath it. Another tried to flank the humans, only to be caught in an energy net, immobilized. Rain's voice came over the comms. "Captain, they're panicking. They're trying to regroup, but we've cornered them strategically. This is working." Mira nodded. "Good. Keep the pressure. Remember, our goal isn't to kill them all. Our goal is to survive and force them to retreat. That's how humans turn the tide." The alien fleet above hesitated. Their prey was no longer weak. The humans had adapted. They were clever, coordinated, and unpredictable. One by one, predators on the surface were driven back, forced into traps, or confused by the human strategies. Hours passed in a tense blur. Sweat dripped, muscles ached, but the humans pressed on. The ruins had become more than a shelter, they were a weapon. Every device, every pulse of energy, every holographic display was used to outsmart the attackers. Finally, the aliens began to retreat. The surface was battered and scarred, but the humans were unbroken. They had turned the tide, not through brute force, but through intellect, preparation, and adaptability. Mira lowered her hand from the control panel, her face calm but triumphant. "We've survived, and now we've gained the advantage. The galaxy underestimates humans, but we endure. That is our strength. Remember this. We survive today, we endure tomorrow, and eventually, we will prevail." Rain looked at her, awe in his eyes. "Captain, we're changing the rules of engagement. They won't think the same way about humans ever again." Myra's eyes scanned the horizon. Above the dead planet, alien ships were retreating, but they would return. The galaxy would test them again and again. But the humans were ready. They had learned, adapted, and survived. That knowledge was more powerful than any weapon. "Prepare for the next challenge," Mira said softly. "We have turned the tide, but survival is never guaranteed. We endure because we are humans, and humans survive where others fail. The blue crystal pulsed brightly, steady and strong, almost like a heartbeat in the ruins. Its light reflected off the crew's determined faces. They were tired, battered, but alive. And as the alien fleets disappeared into the distance, one truth became clear. Humanity was no longer prey. Humanity had learned the first lesson of the stars. Survival was the greatest victory of all. And on that dead planet, under the light of distant stars, humans had begun to write their story. Not of conquest, but of endurance, resilience, and the unbreakable will to survive. The dust of battle settled across the barren surface of the dead planet. Energy pulses from the ruins hummed steadily, echoing like a heartbeat through the chambers. Captain Mira Hale stood at the center of the facility, watching her crew repair equipment and catch their breath. Their bodies were exhausted, their clothes scorched and torn, but their spirits were alive, sharper, stronger, and more determined than ever. Outside, the alien predators and ships had withdrawn. The once confident fleets had learned a harsh lesson. Humans were unpredictable, clever, and willing to endure what others could not. They had underestimated humans, thinking size and strength would decide the outcome. They were wrong. Myra's eyes scanned the horizon. "We survived because we adapted," she said quietly. "We survived because we thought, planned, and endured. That is our strength. That is why we are still here." Lieutenant Rain approached, exhaustion written across his face, but a faint smile on his lips. "Captain, they won't forget this. Not the predators, not the fleets. Humans are different now, dangerous in ways they don't understand." Mira nodded. "And that is enough. We do not need to conquer them. We only need to survive. That is the victory we hold over the galaxy." The blue crystal in the central chamber pulsed, its light filling the ruins with a soft glow. It seemed to acknowledge the humans' endurance, recognizing their determination. The facility's technology hummed with renewed energy, as if offering the humans guidance and tools for what lay ahead. The crew gathered around Mira. They had learned more than survival techniques. They had learned patience, strategy, and the strength of human ingenuity. The alien attacks had tested them, but every threat, every ambush, every strike had been a lesson. And humanity had survived. Myra's voice grew firm, carrying authority and pride. "Remember this day. Remember this planet. The galaxy may see us as weak. They may think we are small, insignificant, easy to destroy. But we endure. And in the end, endurance is stronger than any weapon." Rain glanced at the sensors. "Captain, there's something strange. The blue signal, it's spreading. Not just on this planet. It's reaching out to nearby star systems." Myra's eyes narrowed. The lost civilization left more than technology. They left knowledge. And now humans carry it. The galaxy will notice us. They will see that humans survive when no one else can. That is our legacy. Outside, the stars shone brightly, indifferent yet beautiful. The humans looked up at the sky, at the vast expanse they had once feared. Now, it was not just a void. It was a challenge, a teacher, and a proving ground. Humanity had survived the impossible, adapted to threats no one could have imagined, and endured where others failed. Mira turned to her crew. "We will leave this planet soon. We will return to the stars, not as conquerors, but as survivors. The galaxy may try to destroy us, underestimate us, and challenge us. But humans endure." The crew nodded, united in determination. They had faced death and learned to dance around it. They had faced fear and turned it into strategy. They had faced predators and survived. And in the heart of the ruins, the pulse of the blue crystal seemed to celebrate their triumph. As their ship lifted off from the dead planet, the aliens watched from afar. They whispered among themselves, fear and respect mingling in their voices. Humans were not just a species to hunt. They were a force of survival, and survival in this galaxy was not to be taken lightly. Mira looked at the stars ahead, the unknown waiting. She knew challenges were still to come, But she also knew this truth. Humanity had survived the stars when no one else could. They had endured. They had adapted. And they would continue to do so wherever the galaxy led them. The blue light faded as the ship left orbit, but the lesson remained. Humanity did not conquer the stars, they survived them. And survival, in a galaxy of endless threats, was the greatest victory of all. The stars stretched endlessly, cold and distant. And somewhere in that vastness, humans sailed onward, small but unbroken, fragile but indomitable. Humanity had survived. Humanity would endure. And that was enough.